Hi everyone, welcome back to the show. Hope you guys are having a great day today. I certainly am. It is a great day to be a Bitcoiner. No kidding. Look at the price of this. It hit a high of 123,240 according to my exchange, and that happened just yesterday, 13th of July at around 4 p.m. in the evening. So that is precisely not to brag or anything. No, I'm genuinely clearing my throat. Hold on. Um I took my profits already on a lot of the altcoin positions that I had. They were giving me really good profits, and I just couldn't say no to that. And I mean, I've been having good profits for the past couple of days. Don't get me wrong, but yesterday was just way too phenomenal, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to take you up on the offer, and and we hit that resistance level that I told you guys we were going to hit. 122,000 was where I had it drawn. Pivot levels pinpointed it a little better, with the resistance one being at a higher level of 122,000, that being 878. We ultimately hit 123,000 and bounced off from there. Our current price for Bitcoin has now come down since then about 1%. How much is this? Never mind, 3%, to 119,361. It's still a good height, right, for crypto, for Bitcoin specifically, hitting a high of 119,000. Supertrend sparked up within the last couple of days here as well. We see the invalidation zone at 114,500. This indicates that if Bitcoin breaks below this, which it shouldn't for a while longer, like I would expect maybe something like this to happen, Bitcoin to retrace a little bit over here at we'll call it 115,000 just to make it clear, because we have a pivot level there as well. So Bitcoin retracing down over here, it should take a couple of days. If we're not able to hold on to this uptrend, I mean, ultimately super trend will just flip downward like that if price just, breaks the uptrend is ultimately what happens. But we still got another uptrend that is over here that will well sustain the price if it does continue dropping. 110,000, I will agree. Yeah, 110,000, I will agree, would be a good support level, psychologically speaking. And I mean, I don't know how far low will go, but it's likely going to be around 108,000 worst case scenario, right? From here, we have a good possibility of bouncing up again. Super trend should follow that low point up until we make contact once again. Then, we should start heading higher along with whatever uptrend this is. Hopefully that is the case. I mean, hopefully this is not even the case, right? I don't want Bitcoin's price to drop. I pressed page down by accident. My bad. I don't want Bitcoin's price to drop. Like, what we're seeing right now is phenomenal, but we know that everything that goes up must come down eventually. It's not going to come down significantly. There's no reason for it to do that. I've been analyzing the news. I don't see any negative news that's been coming up. Sure, there's always, those war threats that are going on, but I feel like that's just like one Twitter post a day of, oh, North Korea might attack the United States. That's it. That's the headline, just completely unprovoked. Okay, pal. And then Iran shut down its airspace. We already know Iran is all bark and no bite. So nothing really much is happening in terms of negativity, right? This week specifically, I'll talk a bit about it in more detail. It has to do with crypto. It is crypto week. The United States will be passing a lot of regulation laws in terms of cryptocurrency during this week, which we'll discuss in more detail. And overall, like, the sentiment is just very positive because we know we're getting those rate cuts. We know the debt ceiling has been increased. We know that money printer's coming on. We know M2 global money supply is skyrocketing. What's all this money, this fiat currency going to do? Likely flow into, could be risk assets like Bitcoin. Because, governments have the ability to print just infinite money. They just have their Federal Reserve that limits them to do that. And I mean, right now, Federal Reserve for the United States, it is very restrictive, preventing that money printer from coming on. But we are still projecting to interest rate cuts, which would allow, more inflation, quantitative easing, etc., to get the money flowing, I guess, right? That's the way to put it. And that should ultimately help the price of Bitcoin and practically every asset, houses, stocks, skyrocket. Especially because Trump wants the Fed to cut rates aggressively up to like 3%, which would reduce the interest rate from 4% to 1%, which would be, extraordinary. I mean, things would explode like never before. We'll see what happens with that. I don't think that's going to happen, but Trump is really pressuring Jerome Powell to do that. Either, cut rates a little at least, or just resign entirely, and Trump will appoint a new person that will do what Trump wants, basically. Because Trump feels like he should have the power to fire Jerome Powell, but I mean, Powell is stubborn. He's not going to resign. It's not likely. He seems to have that firm stance that, he does hold the power and he is trying to do what is best for the economy, although many people don't see it that way. There's that discussion that one may have, but I mean, in other words, like, even with all these projections, with what tariffs, how they're impacting the economy, he still has an outlook of, yes, the Fed might cut interest rates at least twice for this year. So still good expectation. It was a little higher from before, which market didn't like seeing that. The chances of more rate cuts happening was being diminished. But of course, with Trump's pressure on Powell to get those rates cut, that did spark some interest back into the market. Ultimately, this rise over here, I'm pretty sure. And I mean, Bitcoin's just kept on going up from there, basically because there has been no bad news and a lot of buying just in general, a lot of money that is just, it keeps on existing around the world. Like I mentioned, the global M2 money supply, that chart that shows that Bitcoin, if you offset that chart by like 90 days usually, it's a pretty good correlation with what Bitcoin's price experiences, all the fluctuations, all the ups and downs. And man, for this end of this month, by August as well, things are just looking like they're going to skyrocket nonstop to, like, I don't even know, maybe 170K. Now, I don't want to get carried away. I know the 112,000. Let me just go rewind a little bit over here back in time for you guys as to why I have these projections where I have them. So I drew a fib extension indicator right from our low in August 5, 2024, the all-time high at the time in January of this year, our lowest point where we were devastatingly low at 74,000, and it looked like the bull cycle was about to end, but we bounced up from there. So those are my 3 points that I have for the fib extension. It marked a high of 112,000, which is literally where we rose week after week nonstop up until that level. We dropped a little bit because of fears of possibly World War III and Elon Musk fighting Trump, etc. We dropped all the way down here to 99,000. Well, that's where I sold. We ultimately had a low. What was this one? 98,133 was the low of that week. Yeah, so, but I mean, either way, from there, we've been on our way up again. So that's pretty good. We broke out of the 112,000, and I mentioned our next target would be 122,000, and we ultimately reached that. What is next? It's the 135,000, and that's the highest point that I have for my fib extension for the time being, which is, the level where if I still had my Bitcoins and I wasn't stupid enough to sell it down over here at 99,000, yeah, I would have probably sold it all the way up here. I think I would have, had the strength to hold on and eventually sell around those levels. But yeah, we still got a way to go, as I mentioned. In terms of this bull cycle, you're already seeing super trends skyrocket to 95,000. This is with a 10-3 configuration, not the 5-5. Because this, I'm not necessarily following trends. I'm just trying to determine where bull cycle invalidates. And it's looking like it's still on its way up, right? We had our low points and we met right exactly with that super trend level back in April of this year when Bitcoin was 74,000. So was the super trend level, right? 74,200. So we bounced off of that. Bull market is still in place. The cycle isn't over yet, the 4-year cycle, and we're still going through it. So, I mean, seeing this at 95,000 gives us enough safe space to say, hey, if something devastating happens and Bitcoin has a 20% drawdown, we'll still be in a bull cycle. It's just part of it. And you do see this throughout Bitcoin's history, 20 to 30% retracement, corrections. It happens. And those are buying opportunities as long as this super trend is not broken, right? You can see that historically as well through 2022. Like once it flips negative, that's when you should stop buying Bitcoin entirely until it finishes dropping, right? You could have bought again at 22,000 or whatever the case is here. Once this flipped back to a bullish super trend in January of 23. So that's just the kind of way I've analyzed my charts and how I determine whether or not we are still in the cycles that we deserve to be in. And then, of course, I have a super trend 5-5 just to help me determine what the trends, right? Like, this super trend kind of correlates with this. If we have a downtrend, it would correlate with the red, etc. So, I mean, where we are right now with Bitcoin, this is fantastic. I like it. I know we're currently kind of going down a little bit. It's whatever. I'm out of it. Anyway, so, hey, if this drops even further, I will be buying. The issue with me, though, is I don't really want to buy Bitcoin above 100,000. That's kind of something that I've always done, right? Back when Bitcoin hit in January, its first time of 110,000 almost, right? That's when I said to myself, okay, I'm going to rebuy Bitcoin every $1,000 all as far down as it goes, just to keep accumulating, because I had also sold my Bitcoin at that time as well, and I did just that. Like I was buying at 99, 98, 97, 96,000 Bitcoin, all the way down. Not even all the way down, I actually ran out of money, so I couldn't buy the low lows at 74,000. I think I did buy a little bit. Like I even sold my spot Bitcoin at that time to accumulate more, because I saw it was a good buying opportunity back when Bitcoin was all the way down over here, right? And I mean, it cost me a lot, but ultimately it paid off, not as much as it could have, because I held it all the way up until here and I sold it over here, and of course we're all the way up here now. Sure, I would have made a lot more profits, but I mean, there was also altcoins that I purchased, which even the altcoins, they haven't been performing as well. Like that April drop, we've had worse drops literally within this month or the previous month, right? For altcoins, they have not been doing so good, perspective wise, but like I still bought them and I've taken profits on all of them by now. Not all of them, most of them. Some of them are still a little higher. Like I purchased those even higher than what they currently are right now. Just imagine that. Should give you a good idea that we're not in alt season yet, but it's coming soon, right? That's just a good thing. A good thing to keep in the back of your mind. Anyway, I've been yapping all the time, the whole time, sorry, about this. I don't think I streamed the day before. I didn't stream yesterday. So this is a bit of stuff we have to catch up on. In terms of technical analysis, let's have a look. So we also hit a resistance here for Ethereum at 3,068. Also probably a level I mentioned to you guys. I'm just that smart. No, it's not really me. It's the Fibonacci secret. So that exists. Ethereum validates 2,786. It's uptrend. We have its current price at 2,983. So like I said, we hit a good high point for most of these coins, and we're just coming down a little bit. Likely to, I guess, reload and then take off once again, because I don't see any negative news that could be happening this week. Sure, we could get some economic data. Sure, some of the bills of the crypto week could not pass or not go according to plan, or might not meet people's expectations, which is also another issue. That can maybe cause a market drop. But I mean, other than that, like, everything is just on fire right now. So maybe we'll keep this momentum up. I mean, we certainly piqued a lot of interest of other institutions, maybe even retail at some point. So we'll see how that plays out. Very underperforming coin, though, was Solana, surprisingly. Solana, who typically seems to be the volatility king as it was once in the past, seems to have slowed down for whatever reason. We do have ETFs with staking, so that should, on paper, attract more volume into the markets. But I don't even know why. It's had its move. Like, it's fine, I guess, right? We reached a high of 168, but really, Solana 168 while Bitcoin's at all-time highs. Like, last time Bitcoin was at all-time highs in January, Solana was double the price that it is currently. So it's like, what are we really doing here? Anyways, it's approaching this uptrend that I have drawn here, although realistically, like, we could drop to 151. We'd still be in an uptrend for Solana. We'd just have to readjust this uptrend. We don't necessarily have a downtrend. I guess that's a good thing about Solana. All we really have to pay attention to is resistances, which we have a major one at 170. So I guess that's kind of what we're struggling to approach at this moment. I don't know. I'd probably have to take a look at liquidation levels to see where those are lying for shorts. But for an asset like Solana, I don't think it's going to bring too much volatility in that sense. So maybe it's irrelevant. I don't know. In terms of Bitcoin, like, I'm pretty sure all shorts are liquidated. They are now starting to form again with their liquidation levels. If they were putting it aggressively, would be above 123,000. Obviously, that is our new resistance because that's the highest point that we could have reached before we retraced back down to 119,000. Anyway, moving on to XRP. XRP actually had a really, really good move and actually broke above the $3 mark. We hit $3.03. I'm really happy for XRP finally making a good move over here after being stuck under 230 for what felt like ages, right? This red line that I have over here seemed to be a major resistance that it could not break out of, but it finally did, and it was majestic. Look at all these green candles with some bumpiness over here, a little bit of volatility, but we ultimately hit, the $3.03. The current price after taking a breather is at 289. I did take some really good profit on XRP as well, so I'm happy with it. Sui, also making big moves and tapping that $4 mark exactly. Major resistance, of course, due to psychological levels, right? Why do I have this Fibonacci? That's our all-time high? No, that is not our all-time high. This is the all-time high. Oh, look at that. No, it's not this one. It's this one. Okay, I'm going to have to draw a new one because, all these resistances have practically been broken. We're really paying attention to pivot levels instead over here with R2 being at 403. That just coincided very perfectly. I would probably draw, I think I'm going to have to do this one. Let me go to weekly, try to get a bit more accuracy and see this a little better. Let me see. So we're looking for resistance levels, right? Which one's higher? 535, 537. Low point there. That is a Fibonacci that also coincides pretty perfectly. So let me go zoom back into a 4-hour chart. I apologize for all these lines if it's confusing for you, but it just makes the most sense to me. You have all these three coinciding, right? The $4 exact psychological level, the resistance 2, and then the Fibonacci at 397. Roughly 3 cents of a distance for this whole zone should indicate, of course, a major resistance. After that, why do I have this marked? Just a high point from before. Sure, we could see a bit of a slow point if that would indicate a, double roof resistance kind of deal if both prices hit this 429. That was the highest point that we saw in May, right? Yeah. And then after that, I'm sure these pivot resistances will no longer be here. They reset every week. That's another thing to keep in mind. So we're looking at 460 maybe as another major resistance. And then all-time high at 537. You could also obviously put a $5 resistance, kind of coinciding with this resistance for sure, I guess. But it's looking really good for Sui as well. Major movement, by the way. It feels like we just skipped over $3 like it doesn't even exist, right? We were under $3 for a while over here before this breakout. We did do our breakout. We had a resistance at 354. Came back down where we have this pivot level now due to these low points. And huge breakout over here, a 9% God candle in the 4-hour chart, taking us all the way up to about $4. And then we're kind of chilling above this level. So we did also break out from this downtrend line. So this no longer exists. And it's all uptrend from here. That's all I can really tell you about Sui. So it's looking good. I like that. Cardano also did have a decent movement. I've seen Cardano higher though. So I would have liked to have seen it above 80 cents where it once was. I remember like trying to buy Cardano at 80 cents when it was at 84. Not too long ago. This was literally a couple months ago. May. Yeah, literally this. I was like buying Cardano here. I think it was here, honestly. I bought here. These dips. It rose up to here. 84. Yeah, I remember this. It hit 84. I'm like, okay, I'm selling. And then that was just a perfect timing. I'm not doing any witchcraft or none of that stuff, but happened to have sold over here. And then, Cardano, of course, dropped since then. I took advantage of these dips because I knew this was a very important support at 51 cents. I mentioned this every time, I'm pretty sure, but we have a triple support right over here, and right over here that has not been able to break in 3 multiple occasions within a month's worth of distance, right? February, April, and June. And since then, look at this huge recovery that we're having so far. We're kind of bouncing back off of this downtrend line. But I mean, after we confirm a breakout, we reach 78 cents. It's over. Although, let me see. Yeah, I feel like we would have to keep this Fibonacci levels for now. I draw a different one if need be, but seems like this is the most relevant one for now. Because that's the most important level we got to reach is 86. Above $80 is what I'm... $80. 80 cents is what I mean. For Cardano, that's what I'm expecting. Litecoin is also on a good run. Keeping the uptrend intact. Did not reach $100 though, so that is a bit disappointing for Litecoin. $100 resistance is over here, of course. Psychologic levels. It's kind of similar performance to what we're seeing with Solana. Like, sure, they've received that contagious momentum of moving upward, but it didn't go as hard as a lot of other cryptocurrencies. The other ones that I just covered, right? XRP did a good job. Ethereum arguably did a good job as well. Sui, etc. So yeah, still more expected from Litecoin, but I'm sure at some point Litecoin and Solana will have their massive days. They have to. Bitcoin's still on the drop. All right, cool. What else did I do over the weekend? I took advantage of the Pump.Fun sale, which I also want to show what has happened here. Hey, I did a good job. Look at that. So I entered over here, and I put another trigger order like right at this low point, I remember, just in case it went against me, and then one more where I would get liquidated, wherever that would have been over down there. This was when Pump.Fun went live, 12th of July. That was a Saturday. And from there, hold on, let me just check my phone. One second. Okay. Saturday 12. Yes, that's right. So that's the day that the token went live on most exchanges. And of course, a lot of people received, things like airdrops or their own share from investing early into Pump.Fun, etc. And they sold it off in the market, causing a massive wick toward the bottom, which triggered one of my long positions. And then a couple hours later, I saw it at these high points. I'm like, yep, that's my chance to take profits. So I did. I took $200 in profit. Oh, 275, almost 300. That's pretty good. Pretty darn good. For how long did I do this? July 10 to July 12, 2 days, $300. Hey, sure, I'll take it. That's 1 day's worth of work, right? And then since then, we did go a little bit higher. Like I said, of course, you'll never time the tops. You can't. It's impossible. We hit a little bit higher movement to 0.007. And then from there, we dropped to 0.005, which is where we currently are right now. And some people, from what I've seen, the reactions on Twitter, they're a little disappointed with, token allocation, or, the airdrops that people have been receiving, or, the price not performing to their expectations. This was my plan all along, though, and I'm happy that Big X was giving us the chance to invest into Pump.Fun early, like pre-launch trading. That's perfect. I love it. I'm really glad with it, and I took full advantage of it. So overall, though, look, I'm still bullish on Pump.Fun. If this does continue dropping, believe me, this is going to be one of the few coins that I will also be buying into, apart from the ones that I have listed on the top here. I do also want to start investing into Hyperliquid. Really good decentralized exchange from Solana. It's obviously gonna... These are all Solana ecosystem type tokens, right? Pump, Hype. What else we got? Pudgy Penguins, I do want to invest in as well, although I know this is all becoming like, oh, you're just going to start investing in meme coins, aren't you? I know I kind of am, but I need money too, right? And it seems like meme coin is going to be where it's at. No, I'm not a degen. I'm not gonna invest in these like $1,000 market cap meme coins that are worth pennies. No, I'm not gonna do that. I will invest in stuff that I know that I see that has a lot of community backing. I'm seeing them all over the place on Twitter, for example. Pudgy Penguins, like I said, we'll be talking more in detail about that. And Pump.Fun is not going anywhere. Like, that's the place to go if you want meme coins, where all the degens go. And, as long as Pump.Fun makes all their money with whatever Solana commissions they charge, I'm assuming they do. I don't know. I haven't really used it. I have the app downloaded, but I haven't really used it. Would depend, right? Just to see how... It's kind of like investing in Coinbase on the stock market, right? Regardless of if people make or lose money, the price is always technically going to increase because the company receives commission whether you buy or whether you sell. Just like have a look at these, for example. Funding fees are separate, but just the trading fee in general, like regardless if I made profit or if I lost on this trade, yes, Bing X would have received 67 cents from me. Like, that's just how it works. And it's part of it, right? I guess they need it to, run their company or whatever. They got to receive a cut from it. So, fair enough. And I feel like Pump.Fun is going to do the same thing. That's how they'll receive revenue. And as long as meme coins are hot, it's, you've seen how fast they grew. They're a top growing company last year alone. So they've got a lot of potential, and that's what I see in them. So it makes sense. And Hyperliquid is just a really good decentralized exchange. We're seeing a lot of whale activity on there. Every time somebody reports, oh, Hyperliquid whale, 40x leveraged position on Bitcoin, whether that's long or short, with millions of dollars in there. Yeah, they got to be making something too, right? I can't be wrong about that. So those, and then Pudgy Penguins, like I said, I've just seen them all over the place. What else would I include? Maybe Pepe, because I've always liked Pepe, and Pepe's still a really good meme, in my opinion. All right. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about in terms of technical analysis. Wow, I went over the board with that 27 minutes talk. Moving on. Still going to talk about kind of technical analysis in terms of Bitcoin and its news. This is also a major thing that's happened, which many people were predicting Bitcoin to have a chance of dropping over here. But that has been off the charts by now, and I'm happy to report that Bitcoin, after reaching 123,000, it broke a 70-year trend line on the monthly chart, which has been a level of resistance for every bull market top since 2018. So realistically, only 2 cycles. You have 2018 cycle, 2022 cycle. No, that's not right. 2016 cycle, 2020 cycle. I'm just calling them by their cycle periods, right? And then this is our 2024 cycle, which, if we were following this quote-unquote trend line, because this is not even how you're supposed to draw trend lines, they're technically supposed to serve as resistance levels, as the high points for, your typical bull cycle top. But in this case, we just completely blew right out of that, meaning that we are in a super cycle, likely, is what most people are saying. And also, this would have made sense if we had the same double top as we did back in 2020 and 21, right? We had our double top right over here, and then bear market. It looked like we were about to have exactly that. First top, and the second top right over here. And this week just completely blew everything out of the water. So we're skyrocketing from that, which is a good thing. And yeah, the M2 money supply, like I said, we're on track with that. It's still happening. It's true. It's working all according to plan, which is great. Surging above 121. We're at 123,000, like I said, for the first time in history. This is likely the reason as well. Like I said, it's that Bitcoin knows just how bad the US deficit spending crisis truly is. Keep watching Bitcoin. Yeah, the US deficit and the spending crisis, the reason why Elon Musk quit, etc. And also that something that led to Elon Musk saying, you know what, fiat is hopeless. My New America party that he is going to be creating will fully embrace Bitcoin because of that. Is along those lines is what he mentioned when somebody asked about that, whether America Party would support Bitcoin to Elon Musk, and Elon Musk ultimately said yes because of this whole crisis, right? It's the only thing that hedges against inflation. Bitcoin is the best asset to do that. That's why it's so valuable. And we're still going to keep going higher. China just printed $700 billion worth of money. So I'm assuming this should be a good capital injection for their markets. I don't know. I haven't really looked at stocks at all today. Like, I've been busy, but yeah. Shows a sharp increase in Chinese liquidity, jumping from about $45.5 trillion to over $46.1 trillion. The units are likely in yuans, which lines up with the claim that China injected the equivalent of around 700 billion American dollars into the financial system. And this kind of liquidity boosts usually come from actions like central bank stimulus or easing monetary policy, aiming to support the economy, stabilize markets, or encourage lending. And this is exactly what's going to be happening as well in the United States. And the global M2 chart, the previous yellow line that I showed you, that is of all countries combined, right? And that just keeps on making all-time highs, as we have seen. So, it's just a matter of time. Things will continue to explode. And Michael Saylor just keeps on buying, by the way. He just purchased 4,225 Bitcoins at an average price of 111,000 per Bitcoin. They now hold, they did it, guys, 601,000 Bitcoins, 550. They spent $472.5 million in that purchase. That's pretty good. We're seeing this kind of money from ETFs, by the way, practically every day. I'm assuming we're like constant inflows, right? Wrong. Well, maybe we'll see what BlackRock does. Oh my god, they almost inflowed $1 billion yesterday. What is this? I mean, in total with ETFs, yeah, $1 billion was achieved yesterday and the day before. Not yesterday, sorry, not yesterday. This is 11th of July. That was Friday and Thursday. 1 billion and 1 billion. That's crazy. BlackRock is usually the last company that reports practically at like midnight, I feel like. But that's why I'm never able to catch these numbers live. But we'll see tomorrow, I guess, if it's important enough for me to come back and remember. I can't stream tomorrow, so it'll have to be Wednesday. We'll see. We'll have a look at these periodically anyway. But it's good, for 472 million, good. And this also, shorts getting liquidated. James Wynn, famous, I guess, crypto gambler. What would you call this guy anymore? He's not an investor. I mean, there was one point where he actually just made his Twitter account just reporting news because he just kept on losing on short trades. You'd see these posts of people saying a hyperliquid whale opened a $40 million short on on Bitcoin, on hyperliquid, with like these crazy leverage levels, 50x, 40x, short position. And he did it again. And that happened yesterday. And yesterday we hit the all-time high of 123,000. He deactivated his Twitter account. Yeah, you should never short Bitcoin. First of all, you're just going to get wrecked eventually. Right? Sure, you can make some short-term gains, but it's not recommended. And also, you're going against the fundamentals of Bitcoin, which are so strong, an asset that's going to always increase in value forever. Yeah, so you never do that. Anyways, he's back, so no big deal. You could short other stuff, like I said, but not Bitcoin. There's a lot of shorts going on in Ethereum, but ultimately I wouldn't add on to this pile. We have record short levels, and I feel like I show you guys this all the time, but it's still there. Lots of leverage shorts waiting to be liquidated. I choked on my own saliva. All right. Also want to talk a little bit about Sonic Labs. I do love Sonic. It used to be Phantom. They used to give me good money. I also lost a lot of money, but it's whatever. I made more than what I lost. They say they're announcing July 17 that they are taking things to the next level. Ooh, maybe some good stuff. Can I finally buy it or no? Sus DT. Um, that's literally the ticker, by the way. It's SUSD. I could finally buy it. Okay, cool. It's at a really low price still. 34 cents. That's really cheap. This used to be in phantom form, $1 plus. So you got an easy 3x, 4x right over here. Just saying. I know it's not that popular because there's so many competitors. It's like another competitor to Solana or Sui, by the way. So that's probably why it's not that famous. But, you know, it's still there. They have their own blockchain. It's really good as well. Yeah, I've got nothing but positive stuff to say. This is relatively low, honestly. And we've seen Phantom, what this coin used to be, at higher levels with worse fundamentals. So this is incredibly underrated. I feel like, I don't know, when did they list this? Oh, I guess a while. January 20, that is a lie. No. I looked up this coin before and I couldn't find it. Or maybe it was in standard futures. That could probably be why I couldn't see it. Let me look it up on CoinMarketCap. Sonic is literally S. Beautiful ticker, by the way. Number 75. This used to be number 50s, by the way. So the market cap, like, this can increase significantly, okay? I'm just saying. 1inch is integrating Sonic Network to enable 400,000 transactions per second gasless DeFi swaps. Wow. Well, that was 2 weeks ago. That's old news. Sonic airdrops via Yapper program with Kaito integration. All right. Yeah, EVM L1. Highest performing combined speed, incentives, world-class infrastructure, powers the next generation of DeFi applications. 400,000 transactions per second. Isn't that more than Sui? How many TPS does Sui have? 297. Imagine that. From 10,000 to 297,000 transactions per second. Guys, Sonic is going to be gasless and 400,000 transactions per second. Are you kidding me? Like, why aren't people using this? Matter of fact, I'm so tempted. I am so tempted. We've literally never seen this before, like, as low as 24 before. That is crazy. Like, let me go to, like, a, not even a all-time chart, but, like, a one-year chart. No, okay, I have to go all-time. Oh, it's not going to go that far back, is it? January? What about Phantom? Okay, can I find Phantom? FTM. Do they still keep the chart? FTM. Migrated to Sonic. Yes. No chart? Alright. Cool, so we don't have a chart for this, but trust me, Phantom was above $1. I remember it. $1.21. That was the exact number. Come on. Oh, they're also going to token 2049 in Singapore. Okay. I wonder if they posted anything else after this. July 17 is all they announced. I don't know what's happening July 17. Native USDC on Sonic. Fastest capital movement compared to any other chain with USDC and buy. I agree with this. Like 400,000 transactions per second is insane. I really want to start buying Sonic again. Okay. Do I do this? I don't even know. If it goes wrong, well, that's the risk. I feel like it's incredibly underrated. This is just an insult. 34 cents still after Bitcoin, you know, all-time highs. Alt season's not fully here yet. Man, wait till people find out about Sonic. That is crazy. And I'm not, like, sponsored or paid by them. None of that stuff. It was literally just my own intuition. All right. Pump.Fun also, I just talked about it before. It's become the third largest ICO in history. ICO is when a new coin comes out. Here's everything we know from the on-chain numbers. In 12 minutes, it sold $448 million worth of pump. There were 10,000 wallets that participated out of 23,000 who KYC'd on their website. Know your customer. They submitted government ID and stuff, which is a 42.3% buy rate. That's pretty good. Average buy was 44,000 per wallet, pretty high. I'm pretty sure, of course, those numbers are inflated by the odd whales that obviously entered. Another 51.5 million was sold through centralized exchanges, according to their website. I'm not reading all that, but these are really good numbers, and I'm happy to see that for Pump.Fun. Ultimately, I'd say it was a success, and I took advantage of it. Price is kind of coming back down now, so there you go. Pudgy Penguins, another thing I wanted to talk about. You're literally seeing everybody on Twitter just changing their profile picture to this darn penguin. I feel like it's just going to be, you know, if NFTs do come back, and I think I said this before, Pudgy Penguins will be one of the top ones. And I know a lot of people hate NFTs because of what, you know, Bored Apes and CryptoPunks and whatever. Sure. But, I mean, these are genuinely pretty cute. And I don't even know. They look really good. I'm not going to buy one or anything like that, but just pointing it out. And the fact that every Twitter account is adopting it as their crypto mascot, it's, you know, pretty telling. You're seeing this with Coinbase, you're seeing it with Polkadot, OpenSea, MoonPay, major crypto services and cryptocurrencies for that matter, posting that same stuff. New PFP who dis, new PFP who dis, and they would post their penguin with the theme of whatever their service is. Like Coinbase, you'll see them with the C. Polkadot, you see them with the Polkadot logo. OpenSea with the OpenSea logo. MoonPay with their logo, etc. And even Polygon isn't on the action. There you go. Boinkers, I've never heard of this, but there you go. I literally looked up, by the way, new PFP who dis, and it's literally everybody posting this. Infinify, Vibes, Daba Network, Unif AI Network. I never heard of these. CoinSquare, SatLayer. Binance did it too, by the way. Binance, they also put a Pudgy Penguin. It's happening everywhere. It's nonstop. So, I mean, you tell me. Is this the Binance? No, it's not. I want to find the Binance one. It's everywhere, man. The fact that I typed this in and it's only Pudgy Penguins, I don't know if it's the algorithm that's tailored to me specifically, to my account. I mean, I don't know. Let me know what happens with you if you search this up. There you go, Pump.Fun one. Finally something different. Not Coinbase, Binance. Oh no, well they changed it to something different, but I'm pretty sure they put a Pudgy Penguin. There it is. Yellow ice, yellow everything. They posted this yesterday. Wow, literally one day to another they changed their profile picture to whatever the heck this is. I think they're just abusing the system at this point. IKZ. This is Azuki, I don't know who this is live on our Giphy. Just search Financius Azuki using the GIF. Okay, weird. I don't even know what this is. But yeah, hey, lot of attention, especially in the Twitter community. That's what's required to keep a meme coin alive. And Pudgy Penguins has been doing really good. Let me go back to Pengu. It's their ticker. Number 49, crazy. Ignore that percentage, that's all time. Let me go to like a 7-day. 115%. A lot of attention is what this coin is getting. Crazy growth. Within just the last week alone, when people just started changing their profile pictures to this. So it's gonna be here to stay, in my opinion. Altcoin season scale is at 37. If you don't understand this, don't worry. If this is 0, that means it's Bitcoin season. If this is 100, that means it's altcoin season. It's a scale that measures the correlation between Bitcoin's crypto market cap versus the market cap of the rest of every altcoin, which would determine, you know, the balance between the two. Where is most of the money allocated in? Of course, most of it is in Bitcoin. All you got, this is literally just another chart for the Bitcoin dominance chart that I typically show you guys. And based off of this number right over here, and this spiking up, you would assume, of course, that Bitcoin dominance is on the drop, which it is. It's 64.5% currently. So that means that Bitcoin owns 64% of all the money that is invested in crypto right now. And as that percentage drops, of course, that means that people are taking profits from their Bitcoin. They're no longer holding Bitcoin, and now they're buying into altcoins, things that have not gone up yet, which is why I say things like Sonic, Solana, Litecoin, they have a chance of rising pretty significantly once, you know, the Bitcoin dominance effect, the altcoin season takes effect. ultimately. Perfect. We also, things that we should be looking forward to the weeks of July. A lot of earnings. If you care about stocks, I will be paying attention to some of these. Today we didn't get nothing too crazy, but Tuesday we're getting some important stuff like BlackRock, Citigroup. I'm not going to read every company here, but you get the point. Here's a chart. It seems like the last week of July is going to be really significant. Actually, even next week, you got like some of the Mag 7 companies in here. You also got Meta, Microsoft the week after that, like I said. Yeah, really, really good stuff. Or you could just buy Bitcoin. That's true. This week specifically, though, also something that we should be paying attention to because this is the crypto week, is what the United States literally called this week because the House announced it as crypto week. The House of Representatives will be voting on the Genius Act, which has to do with stablecoins, the Anti-Central Bank Digital Currency Surveillance State Act, which is also for mainly stablecoins, preventing them from being, too regulated, keeping the fundamentals of decentralization in crypto active, and then the Clarity Act as well. And also ISO 20022 goes live for infrastructure. So, I mean, if all these things end up with bullish results, of course, we'll continue to go higher. That's obviously something easy to say. But my fear with this is that, I don't know, maybe people could be expecting a little too much from this. I don't know what the expectations could lead to be. But if they don't live up to people's expectations, we might see a market drop. That's the only thing I would be fearful about for this specifically for this crypto week. But I think it should be fine. I mean, overall acceptance of cryptocurrency in general, the United States is on track of becoming the crypto capital of the world. That's what Donald Trump promised to us. So we'll see if that does indeed end up playing out. So far, I don't know. Trump is off to a bit of a shaky start. We'll admit it. Okay. The Epstein files was a complete failure and an embarrassment. But, I mean, as long as he keeps the crypto stuff going, I'm cool with it. And speaking of Trump as well, I mentioned this last week that Trump would be making a major statement on Monday, today, regarding Russia, which this is the statement that I promised to share to you guys. So he just gave Russia 50 days to strike a peace deal with Ukraine before he enacts secondary tariffs at 100% to cripple them economically. Now, 100% tariff threat to Russia, it's not the first time that this has happened. It's happened as well when, the BRICS threat was looming in the background. We're going to de-dollarize the whole world, the BRICS countries, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Well, Trump also said the same thing. Hey, if you guys are going to be abandoning the US dollar, we're charging you 100% tariff. And they're like, oh, okay, no, never mind. We're not going to do none of that. And then BRICS died from there. But now, he's bringing this 100% tariff back up only to Russia because of this Ukraine war that is still going on, that Trump promised to end on day one, but still, also shaky start to his track record so far with the presidency. He has been trying. You can't say that he hasn't, right? The effort is there, but we're not getting anywhere yet. The minerals deal kind of flopped a little. They're still launching missiles at each other, so something's got to be done. And Trump, of course, wants to expedite a peace deal. So 50 days. Resolve something, otherwise 100% tariffs. It's time for Russia to put up or take the lashing. Yeah, that's all it is. And speaking of tariffs as well, I love how beautifully organized this is. Is this coincidence? No, it's not. It's not coincidence. There are some numbers that are different. August 1st, well, July 9. Let me start from the beginning. July 9 was when these tariffs were supposed to be hit on these countries after a 90-day pause back in April, 3 months ago. The 90 days are up, but Trump gave another extension, saying that there will be no more extensions after this. You guys now have until August 1st to strike a peace deal with us, and otherwise you're going to get hit with their tariffs, and there will be nothing that you can do to stop it. So he's been sending letters to practically every country that has not yet signed a deal, with their respective percentage of tariff threats that will be provided to them if no trade talks are done by August 1st. That is just one thing that also concerns me as well. By August 1st, are we going to get another April 7? Could be the case. And I don't think all these countries are going to start calling Trump at once. But they have their percentages there and they have been warned. That's all that's really going on right here. European Union, 30%. South Africa, 30%. What else is 30%? Mexico, Algeria, Bosnia, Libya, and Iraq. 25% you got South Korea, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Moldova, Tunisia, Brunei, Japan. That's it. 40% I saw some. Myanmar, Laos, and that's it. 50% you got Japan. Brazil. Oh my gosh, am I really gonna do this? Yeah, I guess 50% Brazil is one of the highest. Canada's in there somewhere, 35%. Yeah, the rest are irrelevant countries. Who really cares? Plus, the percentages are not that big. But you get the point. So there you go. Grok, Twitter's artificial intelligence, it's been through a lot in the past couple of weeks that I've been talking about. You know, it went on that Mecha Hitler anti-Semitic rant on every reply for whatever reason. They fixed that. They released Grok 4. They also just released these two Grok mascots or personality types. I don't know. One's like some anime girl, some other one is some fox thing, furry thing. I don't even know what you call those, but it's weird. And now they're also going to be implemented into the United States Department of Defense. They reportedly will start using Grok, Elon Musk's AI model. Of course, Elizabeth Warren, of all people, is the most outraged from this, saying that this is the same Grok that was manipulated into praising Hitler last week. What could possibly go wrong when integrating this AI into our national security, right? So, I don't know. I still have full faith in Grok. Honestly, I feel like it does its best to tell the truth, although sometimes the truth may hurt, and a lot of people don't like that. But honestly, like I still think Grok is my favorite AI of all the other AIs. Like it's winning the AI war, in my opinion. All right, cool. So that'll be all of the news that I had to cover for today. Bitcoin's still just hovering at 119,000, so no big deal. Tomorrow I will not stream, like I said. Wednesday is when I'll be streaming, and Wednesday we will cover some important stuff. We have... Okay, well... Apparently tomorrow we're getting inflation data, CPI. I thought it was going to be Wednesday, Thursday. Never mind. Tomorrow we're getting CPI, and Wednesday we're getting PPI. So Wednesday when I'll stream, we'll cover both of those. Important stuff for economic data that helps determine rate cuts, etc. As of right now, rate cuts are looking at... Let me give you the exact percentages so that we can later on review them 2 days from now when I come back. 95% chance we get a rate cut. Sorry, we don't get a rate cut, and 4.7% chance that we do. The percentage is still there, hey, you know. And in total, we're getting 1 rate cut, 2 rate cuts by the end of this year, December. That's all. All right. So I will end the stream here. I might buy some Sonic, like I said. Might buy some Pump.Fun. I don't know, maybe they'll drop. Will they drop? Nah, probably not. Depends on what Bitcoin does. I could load up on more Solana. I still feel like Solana is dirt cheap. Litecoin under $100. You're not going to get a big return, but it's still a decent deal. Keeping in mind that Litecoin's real all-time high was 300 back in 2021, but it's not that hot as it once was for whatever reason. It's still the digital silver, in my opinion, so that still exists. Although many people, it seems like, are shifting toward XRP for the digital silver, the alternative to Bitcoin. But I think it's too centralized, and I don't like the founders. They're Kamala voters. All right, there you go. Nothing against Kamala voters if you are one. It's just, it's weird. Kamala was going to promote Gary Gensler, you know, the guy that was in charge of the lawsuit against Ripple. Why would you want to promote your adversary? Why are you donating to Kamala Harris's campaign? And even Trump, once he figured that out, you know, he kind of just dislikes Brad Garlinghouse and XRP in general. Deleting those, I don't know if he deleted the tweets, but going back on it, I guess, the thing that he mentioned when he would release a crypto, what was it, a crypto ETF? That would include Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, Cardano, right? But no. I mean, he filed a new ETF, the Blue Chip Crypto ETF, through his Truth Social, which includes Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, and not Cardano, but Kronos of all coins. But XRP was included in there, so I don't know. There's no further updates, that at least not that I've seen from there. So keep an eye on it. There you go. That's all I'm going to say. So I hope you have a good night. Thanks for watching, and see ya. Take care. I'll see you Wednesday. Bye.